All right, so get this. You requested a deep dive on Einstein and faith. Color me intrigued.
Yeah,
We're about to unpack some seriously thought-provoking stuff. You'll see it's not about religion, but something much broader.
that's right. We're taking an excerpt from Albert Einstein, The Secret to Unshakable Faith. And using it to explore the idea of faith as a creative force.
Exactly, and you know me, always up for a good mental workout. So what exactly is this source claiming?
Well, it suggests that faith isn't just wishful thinking, it's an active force that shapes reality. Think of an architect. Before a single brick is laid, they have a complete vision of the building. That vision is their faith in action.
Whoa, okay. I see where they're going with this. But is that really how faith works? Isn't that just, positive thinking with a fancy label?
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
The source uses Einstein's own words to make the point. Remember his famous quote, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Well, they argue that imagination is the very foundation of faith. It's about seeing beyond the present and holding a vision of what could be.
Okay, that's starting to click for me.
Right.
But Einstein was a scientist, a man of logic and reason. How does faith fit into that picture?
That's what makes this so fascinating. The source points out that even in science, there's a leap of faith involved. Before a theory can be proven, there has to be a belief in its possibility. Einstein himself faced years of skepticism before his theories were widely accepted. Imagine the unwavering faith it took to keep going in the face of that doubt.
So you're saying that even Einstein, a giant of scientific thought, relied on a certain degree of faith to revolutionize our understanding of the universe.
Absolutely, and it wasn't just blind faith. It was faith grounded in deep thought, in a strong inner vision. He believed so strongly in his ideas that he was willing to stand alone, to challenge conventional thinking.
Wow. I never thought about it that way. It makes you wonder if that kind of faith is what separates those who simply dream from those who actually achieve the seemingly impossible.
It's a compelling idea, isn't it? And the source takes it even further. They argue that faith might be a universal law, just like gravity.
Okay, hold on. A universal law. Isn't that stretching it a bit?
They admit it's a bold claim, but they point to the power of belief in shaping outcomes. Think about it. If you approach a challenge believing you'll fail, chances are you will. But if you approach it with unwavering faith in your ability to succeed, the outcome is likely to be different.
That makes sense. But where's the proof? Is this just a feel-good concept, or is there something more substantial behind it?
Well, the source dives into quantum physics and the observer effect, suggesting that our very observation influences reality at a subatomic level.
Wait, quantum physics, that's getting pretty deep. And how does that relate to faith exactly?
Think of the famous double-slit experiment. It shows that light can act like both a wave and a particle, and it's the act of observing that determines which form it takes. It's as if our perception shapes reality itself.
Okay, I'm trying to follow here. So they're saying that just like the observer affects the outcome in quantum physics, our beliefs might have a similar impact on our everyday lives.
That's the suggestion. Now, I know quantum physics can be mind-bending, and the source is definitely making a metaphorical leap here. But what's undeniable is the impact our beliefs have on our experiences.
You know what? That actually resonates with me. I've noticed that when I approach things with a sense of certainty, things tend to flow more smoothly. But when I'm riddled with doubt, everything feels like an uphill battle.
Exactly. And that's why the source emphasizes that faith isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which reality to empower with your belief.
Okay, I'm hooked. This is way more interesting than I initially thought. So if this faith as a force idea holds water, what does it look like in action? Did the source provide any real-world examples?
Welcome back. It's fascinating to consider how this idea of faith as a force might play out in our lives.
Right, we left off talking about choosing which reality to empower with our belief. I have to admit, it's a bit of a head trip to think that my beliefs could actually be shaping my experiences.
Yeah.
Part of me really wants to believe it's true. So how do we actually put this into practice?
The source provides some really interesting examples. They talk about Thomas Edison and his relentless pursuit of the light bulb. You know, the famous quote, "I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
Classic Edison. But I always thought that was about persistence, not necessarily faith.
The source argues that Edison's persistence stemmed from a deep-seated faith. He knew the light bulb would work. It was just a matter of finding the right path. Each failure wasn't a setback, but a step closer to his inevitable success.
So he was choosing to focus on the outcome he believed in, even when faced with countless obstacles.
Exactly. And they use Einstein as another example. He faced years of rejection and skepticism before his theories gained acceptance. Can you imagine the level of faith it took to hold onto his vision in the face of that kind of opposition?
I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's like these individuals had this unshakable belief in their ideas, and that belief fueled their actions and ultimately led to their success.
That's a great observation. And the source goes on to say that this principle applies to all of us, not just scientific geniuses or inventors. They talk about the importance of emotional alignment, citing Neville Goddard, a teacher of spiritual laws.
Okay, emotional alignment. Remind me what that's all about.
Goddard said that what we feel to be true and persist in feeling will harden into fact. So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts. We have to truly feel the truth of what we want to manifest.
So if I want to achieve a specific goal, I need to not only believe it's possible, but also feel the emotions associated with achieving that goal.
That's right. It's about aligning our emotions with our desired outcomes, feeling it as if it's already real.
I can see how that would be powerful. But what about doubt? Let's be real, we all experience doubt. How do we deal with that when trying to cultivate this kind of faith?
It's important to remember that doubt is a natural part of the human experience. The source doesn't suggest we try to silence doubt altogether. Instead, it's about choosing to focus our attention on faith.
So it's a bit like choosing which thoughts to feed right. We can either give energy to our doubts and anxieties, or we can nourish our belief and let that grow stronger.
Exactly. And here's a practical tip from the source. Visualize yourself already living in the reality you desire. Don't just see it in your mind's eye, but actually feel the emotions, the sensations, as if it's already happening.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture, but this all sounds a bit, well, mystical. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this relates to Einstein, the epitome of rational thinking.
Remember, Einstein placed immense value on imagination. He said, "Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere." The source argues that this imagination, when coupled with unwavering faith, is a potent force for shaping reality.
So we're not just passively waiting for things to happen. We're actively using our imagination and belief to co-create our experiences.
Exactly. And the source makes it clear that this isn't about forcing outcomes or controlling every aspect of our lives. It's about aligning ourselves with the natural flow of the universe, tapping into the power of faith to create a reality that is in harmony with our deepest desires.
You know, I'm starting to see how this concept of faith, as they're describing it, could be a game changer. But it's also a lot of responsibility, right? If my beliefs are shaping my reality, then I need to be really mindful of what I'm choosing to believe.
You hit the nail on the head. It's both empowering and a bit daunting to realize the power we hold. But the source reminds us that this is a journey, not a destination. It's a process of self-discovery, of learning to harness the power of our belief to create a life that is authentic and fulfilling.
This is seriously blowing my mind. I never thought a deep dive into Einstein and faith would lead to this kind of self-reflection.
It's full of surprises, right? And we're not done yet. There's more to uncover as we continue our exploration.
Welcome back. I'm still reeling from the idea that our beliefs might actually be shaping our reality. It's a lot to process, but also incredibly exciting.
It really challenges us to examine our own beliefs and to consider the power they hold, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I'd love to revisit the source one last time. Are there any final takeaways that really drive this point home?
There's a passage that I think perfectly encapsulates what we've been exploring. The source states that reality doesn't form itself first and then allow belief to follow. They argue that belief actually precedes reality. Your inner state determines your outer world.
So it's not about waiting for things to change in our external world and then adjusting our beliefs accordingly. It's about shifting our beliefs first and trusting that our reality will reflect that change.
Precisely. The source emphasizes that to truly harness the power of faith, we need to train our minds to hold an unwavering conviction in the desired outcome. Not just hope for it, but truly believe it.
That makes me think of those optical illusion pictures, where you can see two different images depending on how you focus your eyes. It's like we're choosing which reality to bring into focus with our belief.
That's a great analogy. It highlights the active role we play in shaping our experiences, and the source reminds us that this is how many successful people throughout history have operated. The artist doesn't wait for inspiration to strike, they create it. The entrepreneur doesn't wait for the perfect opportunity, they make it happen.
It seems like a key element is taking action from a place of faith. It's not enough to simply believe, we have to act on that belief, even if we don't have all the answers or see the full path ahead.
Exactly, and that's where the source brings it back to Einstein's emphasis on imagination. They say, knowledge tells you what is, but imagination tells you what can be. When combined with unwavering faith, imagination becomes a powerful tool for shaping reality.
It's almost like we're tapping into a hidden superpower, the ability to use our imagination and belief to co-create our experiences.
And that's perhaps the most inspiring message of this entire piece. It's a call to action, urging us not to wait for proof to believe, but to believe first and trust that the proof will follow.
Wow, that's a powerful reminder that we're not just passive observers in our own lives, but active creators of our reality.
And on that note, I think it's time for us to pass the torch to you, the listener.
Yes, this deep dive has given us a lot to chew on. If belief truly shapes reality, what reality are you choosing to create with your own faith?
It's a question worth pondering. What possibilities will you bring into focus with the power of your belief?
What an incredible exploration of the power of faith and its unexpected connection to the mind of Albert Einstein. Thank you so much for guiding us through this fascinating material.
It's been my pleasure. Remember, the power to shape your reality lies within you.
And thank you, dear listener, for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those minds curious and those hearts open to the infinite possibilities that await.